I can't see it. Maybe you scrolled too fast. Can you scroll back up? This is ridiculous. Can you look it up on your side then? Of course. That's why we always ask for an email to hold receipts in case you don't get a paper copy. Luckily, the phone I was using was stuck on loading, so I sat there for a few more minutes and told her, sorry, I have to get another phone, this one doesn't work. I get another phone, it loads up. I spend about 3 more minutes typing in her email, one letter at a time. After all, I had to make sure I typed it in correctly. I ended up spending a good 5 more minutes just scrolling on the phone, pretending to look for her receipt. Found it. Now let me see if this is on it. Here's the tag. Unfortunately, if the tag isn't on the garment, I have to verify off of the tag inside. Sorry, the numbers are pretty small. Just give me another moment. I spent 2 minutes verifying. Perfect, I'll take that sensor off. Going through to the last shirt, it was only 2. I backed out of my store app. Oh darn, my phone froze and it closed out. I'm gonna need your email address again. Didn't I just give it to you? Yes, but I try not to remember customer emails. You know, privacy reasons. Karen gives me the email but says it fast this time. Can you slow down and spell it please? Another couple of minutes goes by and oops, I need to find the receipt again. Find the receipt after some time. Oh, I found it. No, wait, that's a different shirt. One moment. The tag's on this one, so you can see the numbers better. Oh, thank you, but I already found the inside tag. I'll just go off that instead. I can't seem to find it. I'll just look for it on my receipt. What am I looking for? The product number. Good idea using the tag. Better to read the numbers. Karen, after a few more minutes, here, I found it. Shows me her phone. Could you hold your hand steady? I can't read the numbers. I pretend to focus my eyes. Oh, there it is. Okay, let me get this last sensor off for you. Fiddle with the sensor for a bit and finally get it off. Give her bag back and told her to have a great day. All in all, what could have been a 1-minute interaction turned into me wasting 30 minutes of her time. I'm just glad to have been able to provide a thorough and positive service to my customer. Jumping down to the comments on this one, we have one from a user called Giannis is the best. It says, not sure I'd want to spend 30 minutes around a customer I dislike, but I guess if it entertains or satisfies you, that is good. In general, I'd rather get away from people like that ASAP. I feel like wasting Karen's time in this case might make them think twice about buying things from that store again, or at least causing a problem in that store again. Because if it's going to take 30 minutes to resolve such a small issue, they might not want to be inconvenienced, and thus they might not try it again. We are talking about a Karen though, so if they go a day or two without annoying somebody or trying to get their way, their head might explode. This story comes to us from Jenny 8765309. So close. Okay, Karen, be careful what you ask for. It's funny how a song can trigger a memory. This morning when I drove my kids to school, the song This Old Heart of Mine by Rod Stewart started playing. Remember this for later. Also, remember this was the late 1990s, early 2000s. So although cell phones were popular, it was a far cry from what we have today. If someone was needed, we had to call their pager and wait for a call back. About 20 years ago, my husband and I moved to a different state from where we were both born and raised. The move was for his job. So rather than pursue a job in my regular field, I found a temp to hire job in a regular office. When I went for the interview, it turned out that my soon-to-be boss grew up one town over from me. So rather than a usual half-hour interview, it turned into over an hour of chatting about our sports team back home, the differences between the states, etc. Karen, the second in command, sat through the interview and looked bored. She loudly yawned and stretched her arm. Despite the fact that boss and I didn't realize how bothered she was, she had a Karen haircut before it was popular. By the time I got back to our apartment just minutes away, the temp agency called and said the company wanted me and was willing to buy the rest of the contract I had with the temp place in order to make sure I worked with them. As it turned out, I was taking Karen's old job. She got a promotion, so you would think that everything would be cool. I was wrong. While Karen wasn't my boss in any way, shape, or form, and had no supervisory power over me, she let it be known that I was the newbie in the office. She was hired only 6 months earlier, so she was a newbie herself. Karen was known to be a pest in the office. Nothing major, but she would do petty things that would bother people. She would make microwave popcorn and leave the bag in for 5 minutes, making the entire floor smell horrible. She would listen to her voicemails on speaker, even when she was sitting with her hands idle. During that time, I thought I was pregnant and had to schedule a doctor's appointment. Although it would have been a welcome surprise, hubby and I were married for just a few months. It turned out the stress of moving and being a newlywed got to me, and my schedule was off. I wasn't pregnant during that time, just stressed. Karen overheard my conversation with setting up the appointment and reminded me that while I was at work, I was on company time and wasn't allowed to make personal calls. Fans of The Office will understand this. The floor plan was just like Dunder Mifflin, very open, and you could hear everyone's conversation during the day. It became a usual din of white noise, with everyone talking quietly. Basic common sense. Boss was fantastic. He had a great sense of humor and was super friendly. I remember one day, I walked back to my cube from the fax machine. He cranked up the small radio he had in his corner cube. This old heart of mine rang throughout the office, and as he turned around, he saw me, then took me in his arms, and we danced. He twirled me around, I laughed, and a few others in the office tapped their feet or did a little dance in their chair. I can't tell you how excellent the people in the office were, except Karen. After the dance with my boss, she walked up to me while I was at the coffee maker. She went on to tell me that what boss did was completely inappropriate and that I could sue for harassment. I rolled my eyes and told her to lighten up. Boss was in his late 60s and would always talk about his grandchild. He was the kind of boss that everyone would want to have. Karen would often go to meetings in another part of the floor. Since she was somewhat close to my cube, every second she was away was heaven. In the meetings, she would leave her pager on her desk, as any matters could have been handled right then and there. Fast forward a few months, and both she and I were settled in our new jobs. Soon, she became distracted because she and her husband were set to buy their first home. During this time, it was a seller's market, meaning that properties were scarce and anything that came on the market sold at or way above the asking price. My husband worked with someone who paid $50,000, yes, $50,000 above the asking price. The dream home that Karen and her husband wanted was a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house on 1 acre of land, just on the outskirts of town. Karen made good money, as did her hubby, so the sale would be based on both incomes. Soon, Karen thought that my role in the office was her private secretary. I wasn't, but what was once in a while, "Can you do me a huge favor and fax this?" turned into a demand of, "Do this now." After the first few times of nicely asking me to fax something, she would ask me for the confirmation report. Although I was clearly busy with my heaps of paperwork, I'd look through the pile of piles and find what she needed. Soon, even when she could see that I was busy and we had an office secretary whose job it was to fax for others, etc., Karen demanded that I do it. She was tired about not getting an immediate response to when the fax went through. She insisted that I not only do the clerk work that wasn't part of my job, but I let her know what I do every step of the way. Every step of the way. Okie dokie. Soon, we had the infamous day of Karen being in an hours-long meeting, her pager on her desk. Her hubby was at their apartment playing phone tag with the realtor, waiting for a response to their offer on their dream house. The closed conference door meant "do not disturb." Basically, unless your hair was on fire or the woman next to you was in labor, do not disturb. The DND rule was set by Karen, as she didn't like interruptions for what she called petty reasons, such as someone landing a big account, etc. Karen gave me 2 different papers to fax, every step of the way, remember? So, "Hey Karen, it's OP. Just want you to know I noticed your request and I'll go to the fax machine now." "Hey Karen, it's OP. Just want to let you know I've stood up and I'm heading to the fax machine right now." "Hey Karen, it's OP. Just want to let you know that I faxed the paper to the first company. I'm back at my desk now, and after a sip of coffee, I'll go back to the fax machine and do the second one." "Hey Karen, it's OP. Just to let you know, someone else was using the fax machine, so I had to wait." Hey Karen, it's OP. Just to let you know that while